All right. 10.4, we're doing special patterns. Special patterns. Okay, it's pretty much similar to what we've been doing. I find it actually easier because it's dealing, you know, where y'all had to list all the factors and everything and figure out all those factors. These are more of your perfect squares. Like the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. They're using numbers like that, and that's pretty much what we're dealing with today. So it's a little bit easier.
Will it still take like 20 minutes for one problem?
No. So factoring the difference of squares is what we're doing. What does difference mean?
Answer to a subtraction.
That's right. So factoring the difference of squares. Guys, let me let y'all write that down. And then I'm going to show you an example right away, and then you'll see. You set the timer. All right, here we go. Y'all ready? Let's say I have a squared minus b squared. Okay, it is written. Whenever you have a perfect square first and second and a subtraction sign, it's always going to be written like this. See? Perfect square, there's a subtraction. The first parentheses has a plus sign, second has a subtraction sign. That's a rule. So every time you see a problem like that, it's almost like a no-brainer. You just pull out the perfect squares, do one parenthesis with a plus and one with a minus. No, it really doesn't. You mean like you could put a minus here and a plus here? It does not matter. It'll still get you the same answer. Let's check and see. A times A is A squared. A times negative B is negative AB. Watch what I'm doing. B times A is a positive AB. And then B times negative B is a negative B squared. Now, if we combine our like terms, and then I'll stop and let y'all catch up. Notice negative AB plus AB, what does that give you, Valeria? Negative AB plus AB. That's right, it's 0. They cancel each other out, basically. That's like saying, 1 minus 1 or 2 minus 2, A minus A sort of thing. So they cancel out. So what you're left with is A squared minus B squared. See how that works? That's if you have a perfect square for the first one, a minus, and a perfect square for the second one. So now, if you don't remember this rule, you still can solve it. You can still solve it. The only difference is you'd be trying to figure out, factors and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? All right, let's do some more. Oh, here's another rule. Let's say we're factoring. That's why I like today, because it's mainly perfect squares. So factoring perfect square trinomials. I'm going to put a big star. A big old star, Franz. All right. Make sure everyone's with me before I start writing. You awake, Ariel? Okay. Y'all ready? All right, let's say I have a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, there's my perfect square trinomial. Trinomial, there's 3 terms. Perfect square, this is a perfect square, and this is a perfect square. And remember, perfect squares are, like I said, 36 is a perfect square because 6 times 6 is 36. Stuff like that. 81 is a perfect square because 9 times 9 is 81. Okay, so if I need to factor this, notice, now y'all watch. Don't write, just watch. Perfect square. Why are you writing? I literally just said don't. No, I don't care. I said don't write. I say don't write. You pick up a pencil. Okay. Pen, whatever. Okay. This is a perfect square. This is a perfect square. There's a plus sign and a plus sign. If you have a perfect square, and 2 plus signs, your answer is a plus b squared. Or, it's okay, a plus b times a plus b. Same thing. That's if you have a trinomial with a perfect square as the first term, last term, and they're both pluses. They will always work out. Now you may write and underline with your pen. So that's another rule. Again, if you don't remember these rules, it's okay. Because you've been already solving all this stuff yesterday and the day before. These are just, if you're lucky enough to have perfect squares. Franz, I do not see this on your paper. So when you're done writing, put your pen or pencil down, and then that tells me you're done writing. No, because let me just show you. Let's work it out real quick. So if I have this right here, and I multiply, I get a squared plus ab, multiply that, plus ab, plus b squared, and then I combine my like terms, and I get a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So it checks. So it doesn't matter.
This doesn't work if you have another letter and another term.
Right, it has to look like this. It has to have, I mean, if they had, but even then, that wouldn't even be a normal problem because if, like, let's say they threw a C in here. There's no way to factor that. It would never work. That would just be, oh my gosh, nightmare. That'd be worse than what you and I were looking at lunch. All right, does everyone have this down? All right. Here's another big star. And I'm going to leave it like this, Franz. Wake up. What if I have a squared, minus 2ab plus b squared? Notice the difference. This time I have a minus and a plus. Before I had 2 pluses. This time a minus and a plus. Here's a perfect square, here's a perfect square. So this time if you have that and there's a minus sign, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Franz, I want it all written down. Or I'm signing a folder today. Got it? Nah, I'm having to remind you already too much. You got it? Okay. This time, remember up here, 2 plus signs, and it had this. Well, this time, if you have a negative and a plus, it's going to be written like this. with a minus in the middle. Or a minus b times a minus b. Either one of those. Where's this? Write everything down. You're like 2 feet away from me. You can't hide it. All right, let's work it out so you can see it. A times A is A squared. A times negative B is negative AB. Negative B times A is negative AB. And then here's how we got our positive. Negative B times negative B is positive B squared. If I combine all my terms that are likes, I get A squared minus 2AB plus B squared. And that's so it checks. Make sure you have it all written down. Do you have this? Okay, very good. Good job, Franz. Everyone got it? Well, that's it. Now I'm going to do some examples. So open up your book to page 422. 422. We're going to start working. Yes, chat.
So like on like regular like assignments, like yesterday, if we see something like what we're doing right now, we can just do what we just did.
If they're both perfect squares, yes. Absolutely.
We needed this one before. Like
Sometimes your book does that. You notice that every once in a while they'll flip it. They do that in 7th grade too. And it's my opinion. Now, I am sure the more intelligent math people and publishers will say I'm wrong. But I'm telling you, this should have been yesterday, and then we did the other. Or
this would have helped us so much because there were several problems where like
I wouldn't have
squares.
taken 3 hours
Well,
to do it.
Save a lot.
yeah.
I think they're trying to teach us the way to do it first and teach
Right,
us
and then teach you an easier way because
Yeah.
then you make cheap.
Or make it really, really hard, and then say, "Oh, now you're being rewarded."
Yeah.
Okay. Morgan's like, All right, 13. We're jumping all the way to 13. All right. It's written. It says factor. Those are your instructions. A squared minus 225 B squared. Now, what's interesting is 7th grade or pre-algebra right now is learning. They're starting a square root chapter. Okay? We all know, the square roots of like 81, 36, 16. But when we get to some of the bigger numbers, that's probably the only trial and error that you're going to have because you've got to find those perfect squares. You may not know off the top of your head what that perfect square is, okay? Shh, 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 shh. Okay? So that, in my opinion, is going to be the only time that you're going to be doing trial and error. So in this case, the very first thing I suggest, check to see, always, if there's anything that can be taken out. Like, do they have anything in common? This time, no, they don't. Let's also check, perfect square. I think this is a perfect square. Based on what we're doing today, it should be. And I have a negative sign. So already we should know what our answer is going to be. So I'm going to do my two parentheses, because I can always change them if I need to. I'm going to definitely, because a squared is a perfect square, I have a in there. So, and this is a b squared, so I'm going to have a b here and a b here. We know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So raise your hand if you can tell me what the square root of 225 is. Yes, Franz? 15. 15 times 15 is 225. Now the big question is, Valeria, what sign do I put here? Ah, very good. Negative and positive. And you can always check. Some of y'all checked yesterday and still got it wrong. That cracked me up. But you can always check to see if you're right. And y'all know how to do that, so I'm not spending time doing that.
Would it matter if you put the negative in the other box?
No, that's what Valeria had asked earlier. In fact, I'm going to write that on here.
Is that just because they're perfect squares?
Exactly. And if you look, let me make sure I write this correctly. If you actually did check, take the time to check and work it out, it comes out to be the same. Okay, it does not matter. So either one of those are acceptable. You can have the negative first and positive here, positive, negative. IXL should accept it. Your other teacher should accept it. It doesn't matter. If we worked it out, we would still get a positive 15AB minus 15AB in the center, and they cancel out. Question? Valeria, do you have a question?
What if you had, for your answer, a squared minus 15?
A squared?
Yeah. Never mind.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so here at the end, write it down. Write down a sample problem, and when we're done, I'll come over there and you can show me. Okay? Don't write it down so you don't forget. And I don't mind. Okay, so now let's look at 15. We're going to do a bunch of these. X squared minus 6x plus 9. Okay, so this is a little different than the first one. This one only had 2 terms. But again, if you took really good notes, I've given you all the little rules. So this time there's 3 terms. First thing you do, always look to see if there's anything you can take out. There isn't anything. Then you hope, like if this was your quiz tomorrow, you're going to be like, oh man, let them all be like this, the perfect squares. That's less work. Oh, look, there's a perfect square, I'm good to go. You want to pray for perfect squares. Also note, you have a negative and a positive. So,
Well, yeah, but like it doesn't have
it's the ears.
doesn't have a square.
So what? Neither did this. But we know 15 times 15 is this.
You should have written 3.
Morgan, no. Okay, so you're telling me this is not a perfect, is considered a perfect square.
It is, but
All right,
it
then.
was solved perfect.
Come on, wake up. All right, in this case, what do I put? Raise your hand. Franz, what is it going to look like?
X in the first spot.
X and X.
Mm-hmm. And then minus 3 and plus.
Is it plus 3?
No, yeah, plus.
You want to try plus? Who is making the noise, Keith?
Yo, how you gonna ask who and then go yo?
All right, let's check this. X times X is X squared. X times positive 3, 3x. Negative 3 times X is negative 3x. And then negative 3 times positive 3 is a negative 9. Oh no.
Oh no.
So did we mess up?
Plus is all plus.
You think they're all pluses? But then how do I get this negative here?
Well, she just told you.
Well, what is it? Okay, let's try all negatives. Let's try all negatives. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And then negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. If I combine all my like terms, oh yeah, I need to put an x here for Miranda. If I combine all my like terms, I have x squared minus 6x plus 9. And that checks. So this would be your answer. Now, keep in mind, this actually, I'm glad that Franz did that, and I'll tell you why. Because in reality, I can honestly tell you, I have a form of dyslexia. And I've told y'all that every night, every day, and at lunch, I review what I'm teaching. Even though I've been doing this same thing every year, I still have to remind myself. Memorizing these things and formulas is difficult. So if you had this memorized, look here, Franz. Perfect square, negative and positive, boom. There it is, okay? However, if you can't remember this on a quiz, a test, homework, whatever, let's say you didn't take any notes that day. If you can't remember this rule that, and you don't have to, really work very much, can you still try to figure out the answer without remembering all that? Absolutely. That's why I'm glad, Franz, this happened, because it shows as long as you check your work, you will, oh, look, we guessed, trial and error, oh, it's not working. So then you try again. So if you don't remember all that, you can still get it. All right, 17. I have an x squared minus 16x plus 64. Oh, and by the way, see how this was x minus 3 times x minus 3? You could also write it as x minus 3 squared. Either one's acceptable. I want to make sure y'all knew that. Some people are like, nope, I am not doing this. I am safe with this right here. And you're absolutely okay. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Sophia. Notice this is a perfect square. Perfect square. I have a negative and a positive. Can I take anything out of these? Do they have anything in common? No. All right, so Sophia, tell me what you think this is. Well, let's check it. Let's check it. What is x times x, Sophia? And then x times positive 8 is 8x. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x. And then negative 8 times positive 8 is negative 64. So are we going in the right direction? Because this would give us x squared minus 64. So that won't work. Because we have a plus and we have this. So, you want to try again? Bingo. Both have to be negative. If we work it out, again, we would end up getting this. And I'm going to put. So again, do y'all see? Y'all got to remember so much anyway. If you don't remember the rules, trying it out, as long as you test it and check, you'll get it right. Any questions?
Question.
What?
If you have 1 for like the last one,
A 1? The number 1?
Would it be
1 times 1.
The square root of 1 plus 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's look at 19. We're going to keep doing these. A squared minus 10ab plus 25b squared. All right, this is different. Slightly. Ariel, can I take anything out?
No.
Good. There is nothing that they all three have in common. Is this a perfect square?
Yes.
Is 25 and b squared perfect squared? I have a negative and a positive. So Ariel, what do you think go in the parentheses?
It would be X, or sorry, A.
Uh-huh.
A minus 5b.
Uh-huh.
A minus 5b.
All right, let's check. A times A is A squared. A times negative 5b is negative 5ab. Negative 5b times A is negative 5ab. Put your letters in ABC order. And then negative 5b times negative 5b is plus 25b squared. I can combine my like terms, and I get a squared minus 10ab plus 25b squared. And it checks. So this is your answer, or a minus 5b squared. Any questions about that? All right. When you have it written down, put your pencils down so I know. You got it, Ariel? Because I have this person here in the way, so I can't see if your pencil's down. All right. Guys, y'all ready for 21? It's going to look different.
Is it Harry?
It's Harry. 2a squared minus 242. Okay.
Prime.
No. No, 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 no. No prime. Let's see. Chat. Do they have anything in common?
2.
2. So we can pull out 2. What are we left with?
A
Minus.
minus 1. Minus 1. 21.
Now. Chat, is this a perfect square?
Yes.
Is this a perfect square?
Yes.
And we have a minus. So you can either look back at your notes, see if you can remember, or work it out. Don't forget this 2. You must bring down the 2. Don't just leave it off. So, Chap, when you're ready, you tell me what to put in the parentheses.
I believe you put A plus 11, and then A minus 11.
You are correct.
Can you also do like the A minus 11 squared?
No, because that would have to be A minus 11 times A minus 11. And since this is plus and this is minus, it can't be that way. That's only, let me show you.
Oh, that's when we have like one negative and one adding?
See, if they're both negative, then you can write it like this. See, if they're both negative, you can write that. If it was x plus 8 times x plus 8, then this would be x plus 8 squared. But in this case, we have a plus and a minus, so this is your answer. Now, if you want to check it, you would go back, check it, and you should get this right here. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to tell you it's correct. But you guys had better check your work. Let's do another. Any questions? Oh, let's get a harder one. This is even hairier, Franz.
No.
All right, 23. 9x squared plus 12x plus 4. Let's see, Morgan. Can I take anything out? Y'all see that? You can't take anything out. Morgan, is the 9 and the x squared a perfect square?
Yeah.
Very good. Is a 4 a perfect square?
Solved perfect square.
And whatever. And notice I have 2 plus signs. So Morgan.
It's twos.
So Morgan, what do I put in here? And guys, don't freak out. Say, oh my gosh, it could be 9 times 1 or 1 times 9, 3 times 3. Is it 4 times? That was yesterday. That's not today. Today we're just doing perfect squares. So what would I put here?
3x. 3x.
Right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And plus 2 plus 2.
That's right. See? 2 plus signs, so you get to do 2 plus signs. You can leave it like this. Isn't that nice? We didn't have to do any of the factors or anything because they're perfect squares.
I like this much more.
Or you can write it like this because they're both plus signs. There we go.
This is what they take as an example for taking this.
Let's do another one. A squared, x squared, minus 16x squared. Oh, no, new. Can I take anything out? I mean, they all look like perfect squares, but do they have anything in common? X squared. So what am I left with? Perfect. Now, is this a perfect square? Is this a perfect square? And I have a minus sign. So don't forget to bring down that x squared. I'm going to do my 2 parentheses, and you're going to tell me what to put in there.
Plus 4 and minus 4.
Perfect. And you could even do x squared times a minus 4 times a plus 4. Either one, same answer. Any questions? Oh, I'm going to do one more and then I'm setting you free.
This seems a lot easier than yesterday.
Maybe 2 more. They'll be quick. It seems it's easier.
It's a lot easier.
What number is that?
27. Oops, I'm sorry. 27. Keith, can I take anything out? Is this a perfect square? Perfect square? I have a plus and a plus. You tell me what to put in my parentheses.
3x plus 5 times x plus 5.
You sure about that? So 5 times.
Oh, I lied. Plus 5z.
Ah, very good. Don't forget that other one. Now, this can be your answer, and to save on time, I'm not going to check it. Or you can write 3x plus 5z squared, because they both are plus.
He was testing.
I know he is. Normally, I'd probably miss it. I think I'm going to set y'all free.
Yay.
Make sure you check to take anything out that you need to. All right, you're going to do 16 through oh no, I'm not going to do
Oh, please don't do 32.
26 even.
Okay. That's doable. Of course it's doable.
What is that like? 8 problems? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 problems. Y'all can handle that. No primes. I have no primes.
May I go to the bathroom?
Yes. And honors. Oh, yeah. 16 through 26 even. And $37. Let's see you do it. Due Friday.
Those book people, I think I'd rather be paid in advance.
First two links
They award you after the.
due Friday.
I think I'd rather get my own.
You have a quiz tomorrow over this stuff. All right.